So before I click into the week, the content for vocabulary specifically, something that I want to draw your attention to is that, as you know, when we first started the class, we started thinking about 21st century literacy and what that means today and how that has changed. After that, we got into strategies for comprehension, what makes a text complex first, and then what are some strategies that we use in order to help all students be able to comprehend, and you did some practice with that. The next couple of weeks, 3, 4, and 5, addressed really differentiation and ways that we can use strategies to meet students depending on their varying needs. So whether that's if they are struggling with motivation when it comes to reading text, or ability when it comes to reading text, or other barriers such as language barriers with ESL, you came across strategies for ways that you can engage students with text, really depending on the differences that they bring to the text and the classroom. So you will notice then the next 3 weeks have to do with vocabulary, discourse, and writing. And each of these are strategies that you're going to be using for teaching vocabulary or language demands with text. Next, we're going to be talking about talking. How do we use talk in the classroom to help students best engage with and comprehend text? And then week 8, we're going to be getting into writing. How do we use writing in the classroom to help students, again, best engage with the text? And so that starts us off with week 6 with vocabulary, which is the reading and the work that you're going to be doing for this week. So depending on your content area, if you're music or math, you may have different readings, so make sure that you're keeping up with your specific schedule. But for those of you who are reading from the main text, you are going to be reading from Beers and Hinchman on vocabulary instruction and strategies for teaching vocabulary. Beyond that, then I have some videos, like most weeks, where you are going to be choosing one sample lesson. So you can see, you read about some of these strategies, and then you're going to get to see some classroom examples of what vocabulary instruction might look like. Of course, these are just a couple of many, many examples, but you can see some examples of what that looks like in the classroom. And then you are going to be reviewing some sample lesson plans. So something that you guys are noticing most weeks, I like to, again, after you're reading and kind of thinking about this theoretically, and yes, learning some strategies, that you can then, we can kind of supplement that with seeing what that looks like. And then you're going to be looking at some sample lessons. So these lessons come from Read, Write, Think, which is just an excellent resource for lesson plans. Several of them do have to do with English, but there are tons of lesson plans just in general when it comes to teaching all different aspects of reading. And what's really cool about this website is that it gives you the lesson plans, and then it also provides professional development resources and examples, all kinds of just really awesome resources here. And so you are going to be choosing 2 of these that are most interesting to you. You may even want to prove some of the other ones. One, so that you can get some ideas of what a lesson plan might look like and some other supplementary materials. But then also to kind of expose you guys to Read, Write, Think, since this is just a really awesome resource for you. And you can see for each of the lessons, they also tell you what standards you're going to be meeting. They give you the instruction plan. There's related resources, and again, and so on and so forth, and just detailed instructions for how you can implement those lessons. So I hope you enjoy Read, Write, Think, and the specific lessons that you choose to review. So like I said, we are not going to be doing the discussion forum now. So instead, you are just going to be jumping ahead to the assignment for this week. And for this assignment, I've asked for you guys to come up with a plan for introducing, reinforcing, and assessing a small set of vocabulary lessons. So you are going to talk to me about how you're going to introduce the vocabulary words, how you're going to reinforce it. So what are you going to do after you first introduce these words to help reinforce students' understanding? Because of course in the text they talk about the importance of having students have multiple exposure, multiple practice, multiple opportunities to apply the words so that they really remember the words, not just remember them for a quiz or for a test. And then describe how you're going to assess the words that you're going to have them read. You are also going to be creating one assignment that you're going to be using with the class. So make sure that you're not just describing what you're going to do to introduce, reinforce, and assess them, but you are choosing one of those that you're actually going to create. So you may create the assignment that you're going to use to introduce the words. You may create the assignment that you're going to be using to reinforce, or that you're going to be assessing. That's your choice, but you're actually going to be creating that with a set of words. So if you choose, for example, concept circles, which is one of the strategies in the Beers text, then you are actually going to be writing the instructions for the concept circles, giving me the words that you're going to be using, and then creating the concept circles using the words that you have chosen. Okay, so you are creating an assignment you're going to describe, introducing, reinforcing, and assessing. Then you are going to be choosing one of those. Maybe you want to choose the assessment that you're going to be using to assess if the students really understand the words. So it's your choice which assignment you want to create. You're going to create something that you would actually hand out to students. In terms of choosing words, you can really easily find, just by doing a quick Google search, just a set of sample terms that you may want to use for this assignment. And so that should be pretty easy to find something that would be an appropriate set of terms for teaching X within your content area. Quizlet is always a good resource for that if you aren't sure where else to look. In addition to that, I did just include some reminders for overall, kind of theoretically, how do we go about teaching vocabulary, and then some strategy examples that you may want to use. So there's all kinds of really great examples in your different texts, and so those may be ones that you may want to choose that you are creating for your assignment for your students. So as always, reach out to me if you have any questions or anything. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing what you come up with for your vocabulary assignment for this week.